Hello and welcome to the Kingdom Bros episode 6. Today we got a power-packed episode talking about what do you do when you're in a rut? Man, if you're like me, you get in these all the time. And it's not just spiritual, right? It's physical, it's mental, it's everything. So we're going to give you guys the 6 steps how to get out of a rut. But before we do all of that, Steve Watson, how are we doing?
I'm doing great, brother. Again, excited to be here and to talk about something that I think I find myself in and out of, or maybe always in. But let's talk today. Let's get deep. Let's get personal.
Let's get deep and personal. So before we even begin, let's talk about what is a rut. And I think this picture I want to paint, the analogy I want to use is, if you get stuck in the mud in your car, right? The inclination, at least that I have, is to slam on the gas and how do I get out of this mud? How do I get out of this rut? Where in reality, what that does, it digs your tires deeper, right? So to get out of it, you don't need more speed. You need to stop. You need to pause. You need more traction, right? You might find something, a car mat or something to put underneath the tires so that you can get out of the rut, right? It's not more speed. It's not more action. Sometimes it's more pause, more reflection, right? And it's a change in strategy, right? So I think about this time when I got drafted with the Seattle Mariners, and I had an opportunity to room with the second-round pick. His name was Andrew Moore. Not the biggest guy, not the most overpowering guy, extremely skilled, talented. Everything he threw was where he wanted to throw it. He broke multiple records at Oregon State, was a phenomenal pitcher, right? He had everything. He had the fastball velocity, he had the changeup, curveball, slider. He could do it all with the ball. It was awesome, right? So I remember one time I was in a little bit of a rut. Yeah. And we were rooming together, right? So that was the cool part. I got to spend a lot of time with him and understand his mindset, okay? And I'm in a little bit of a funk, and I go to Andrew. I'm like, what can I do? Tell me about your mentality. Tell me about your mindset. So I reached out to him, right? I was vulnerable. I was struggling, and I wanted to know what he's doing out there. Yeah. And he said, Lance, you got to understand, and this piece of advice, it changed my life. It literally changed my life. It changed the way I pitched. It changed everything from that moment forward. And it still resides with me today. And I talk about this all the time when I'm with athletes. He said, Lance, you got to understand that when I'm pitching, when I'm out there and I get the sign and I agree to throw that pitch, right? I am telling myself and I am making sure that before I throw that ball, I'm 110% committed to that pitch. I don't just want to throw it to the catcher. I want to throw it through the catcher. I want to have the most conviction that I've ever had in my entire life with that pitch. He goes, you should do that too. As soon as you grab that ball and when you agree to throw the pitch, you can't be thinking about another pitch. You can't be thinking about another location. You got to be all in 1,000% on that pitch. And really the whole message was just about conviction. And he did that with every single pitch that he threw. It's what made him a major leaguer. It's what made him a second-round draft pick and broke multiple records at Oregon State. And when I changed my mindset, that when I have the ball and I get the sign, there can't be any more doubt. Yeah. I have to leave that behind. I just have to have a vision and focus on what I want now, and that's having 110% conviction on what I'm going to throw. Yeah. So I feel like we all get in these type of ruts, but it's like, Steve, what do we do next when we're in them? And in that moment, man, I got out of this rut. Everything changed the rest of the season, and I had a great first season. I can attribute a lot of that to Andrew Moore and what he was doing and what he was telling me.
Yeah, and conviction's important, but in order for there to be conviction, there needs to be a decision. So you actually have to decide, and you have to want to get out of the rut. And I think
bingo.
That's where many of us remain stuck, is the rhythms of life almost lull us into a place in which we may want to, but we don't make that decision with conviction. So we continue to roll into the same stuff. The biggest rut I've ever been in, to where I just felt completely like in quicksand, was when I was fired in medical sales. So I can remember the feeling I felt in the middle of a hot Arizona summer when I went to get beers with my boss after work, and he tells me that you're fired. And before that, I knew that God was calling me to something more, and it was really, like, I did not have the courage to move towards that on my own. And so, like, when all of a sudden the floor was ripped out from underneath me by the Lord, which it was a God ordained firing. And I know that now today because of where I'm at and in the path in which I'm walking. But I'll never forget the heaviness of, holy cow, I have a house in Denver I'm paying for. I have an apartment out here. I have a car. I have, damn near $7,000 in expenses, and now I don't have a paycheck yet. God is calling me to go and do something more with my life. And that feeling of, like, complete paralysis of, like, I know where I want to go, but how in the hell do I get there? And the heaviness and just the still feeling stuck in my old ways, thought processes. Like, really at that time, I don't even know if I had the processing skills to understand it. Like, a lot of what was holding me back was my old ways and everything else. But, like, I just, that was a rut, because God was calling me to move from this place of captivity to this place of freedom in which I'm in now. But I'm still in that process of overcoming little ruts along the way. But I tell that story to, I've been there. Where I went a whole year without a job, and
financial rut too.
Yeah, and just starting at ground zero, having this dream that God had put in my heart, and having no idea how in the heck I was going to get there.
Right.
Like having this thought of, I want to be on top of Mount Everest, but it's like, I got to start climbing, and I don't even know if I really know how to climb this mountain. It's like, I'll never forget the feeling in which I had. But now, this is what I'll tell you, is I will never forget what God did for me through that, because I chose to surrender to Him.
Surrender. I like that word.
Yeah. Let's talk about this a little bit. So just to go more into just, how we create ruts for ourselves, it's, Craig Rochelle has a great example of this, and that, he says, if you continue to drive down the same mud road, you're going to create ruts in which your tires want to drive into every time. But not every rut is a good rut, and majority of those ruts are misleading, and they'll keep you stuck. And it's like, in order to create new ruts in your life, it's an uphill climb. It requires repetition of doing things in which you're probably not familiar with doing, not comfortable with doing.
Right.
And it requires looking away from these ruts in which you've found comfort or false comfort in driving down.
Do you think at that time you even knew you were in a spiritual rut? Were you even conscious of it?
I felt stuck.
You did. When you were making the money and you were in device sales before you got fired, was even a thought that I'm in a spiritual rut? I'm not growing in my faith. Were you conscious of that, or was the wake up call the firing, and then you started to realize, man, I need to draw nearer to God? No,
it was like this buildup of I going to work every day. Like, my head would be in outer space thinking about where I wanted to be. And I have journals that I had written at that time that talked about my dreams of being a speaker.
Even at that time.
At that time, so it was back in COVID-19 where I really started to contemplate like what I wanted with my life. I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
I felt completely unfulfilled in terms of like what I thought my life was going to be like when I was playing sports to where it was at that current time. I really had gauged my life on my business success.
Right.
Of, how well I'm doing in the medical sales world, my status in terms of like how many people I was managing.
Yeah.
And I was just, that wasn't it for me. And like I had this desire.
Yearning for more?
Yearning for more. I'm just like, man, I always had this feeling in my heart, and I imagine everybody does.
Yeah.
And sometimes we deny that feeling because we've been tricked into thinking like, I'm only meant to be average. And
or this is what life's all about.
Yeah.
Is my bank is full, my house is bigger, my car is nicer, I manage people, and we have lots of stuff, and we go on vacation.
Yeah.
And we have kids. Like when we think that this is it, this must be happiness. I've arrived at the end. Like this is what I've been striving for, and now I have it.
Yeah.
And then you're saying, what if I was meant for more than that?
Or what if there's more in life than what I'm actually experiencing right now? And I started to have those thoughts, and a lot of it, I know now it was there was a lack of alignment in my life. So like my values, as much as I wanted my values to be right, my actions to line up with my values, my heart to be full in what I was doing, it wasn't. And then so you start to question like what do I want? And then you start to think of how I can get there. Now the how I can get there part is like when I was actually doing medical sales, like what overwhelmed me is just when I first started down the path, I saw no path. Like it's just like, how do I become a speaker? How do I go from the life I'm living right now, in which I'm making comfortable money, to doing that? And you can almost feel like a hamster on a wheel. Like you just don't feel like it's possible. And then
like you're almost in this dichotomy.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, I'm living this one life, and I'm actually successful and good at it, and I have, by the world's standards, what a lot of people are chasing. Okay. And God is blessing me. Right. Then on the other side, you're like, but there's more. You've always wanted to be a speaker, but this will never get you there.
Yeah, and then
so the path was never going to lead to what you were yearning, what God had actually placed in your heart.
And there was always a voice that was telling me, like I'd be reading a book, like that. I started reading to prepare myself to be a speaker, and I'd have this voice saying like, "This is stupid. Like, why are you doing this?" Or you had like a voice that like you. That you question if like all of this is for nothing, but then I had this other voice that was telling me like, you can do anything you put your mind to if you're willing to pay the price for it. And like you can do like if they can do it, I can do it. Like I used to see, you read about these guys that are crushing it and having success, and it's just like you start to really contemplate life at a deeper level. Like
not just success though. It's a different word. Not crushing it and having success, crushing it and walking in purpose. Yeah, and they're walking in what they're called to do, right?
Exactly.
Is that what you were yearning? You're not yearning for more success.
Exactly. They're doing like
impactful work.
They're living the dream that's on their heart.
There we go.
And like that. Like,
there we go.
Like we all have a dream on our heart, whatever that may be. Like we all have it. But I'd venture to say that we all doubt ourselves in the fact that are we able to achieve it and do it.
Yes.
Like I didn't want to believe that. Like I was like I can remember just
you didn't want to suppress.
Yeah, I can remember I just I want this so bad. Like and so I started to think like I'd be doing like med sales, and I would just be thinking about this all day long. I would journal. I would read books. Like I would.
That's crazy.
Start to like write. Like if I was a speaker, what would I say? And this is all while managing. Like it's safe to say that my heart was going in a different direction than the career I was in. Like I would wake up every day, and then I started to actually talk to God about it, and I started to read my word more, and I the journey began to get there, but it started with a heart full of doubt, a heart full of fear, like zero clue on how the heck I was going to get there.
I can totally relate to this. So I got done playing baseball at 25, and then I jumped into some sales career. Eventually ended up in solar sales, which is lucrative, right? And I became a manager of a sales department, right? And things were going super well, right? But I had started speaking about the same time that I got done playing baseball, just casually, every once in a while, and then I'd get invited. So it wasn't anything super serious. But then as I got into solar and started to become successful, I could start to see this bigger path of speaking starting to open up. And I can literally remember when I knew I had to leave, and when I knew I had to get out, okay, of solar, I can remember being in appointments with homeowners trying to sell them a solar system, thinking about, when am I going to get out of here so that I can go speak and work on my speaking business? Okay? And it was at that conscious moment I decided, okay, I need to find an exit route. I need to get serious about this so I have a landing place for myself and my family. Because I can't keep doing this to myself, right? I can't live two lives. I can't be trying to sell solar while my heart is on speaking. Right? B, this is disrespectful to the owner of this company, right? And he was a very dear friend of mine. He still is. So I continued to work solar, but my plan, it was a means to an end. My plans was, how do I exit?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want, another thought that I had, and I think some of you might be in this situation where like, how do I leave? How do I get to where what God is calling me to go? Right? I had this thought like, Lance, when you own a business and when you have employees, do you want them to be thinking the way that you're thinking now? And I said, no, I would not want my employees to be double-minded.
Yeah. I
would want them to be, whatever season they're in, they'll be all in while they're there. And that's when I made the decision, okay, at some point here soon, I'm going to have to tell my boss that I need to leave.
Yeah.
All while over 3 or 4 years though, right, this wasn't right away, but I had been building the runway, right? I'd been building the website, I'd been building the messaging, right, so that I could leave. So, dude, I can relate to that 1,000%.
Yeah, and mine was a little different. Like mine, I don't know if I was building much, you know.
But you were within. You were.
Yeah. And
like God, you were writing down messages before you even had a microphone and a stage, bro. People would call that crazy.
Yeah, like writing those things, like I'll tell you, and this should be encouraging to people. And we got a long way to go. Like, you know, yeah, we're speaking and we're impacting lives, but heck, dude, got a long way to go.
Dude,
and like
we're all sinners.
We go in and out of ruts, and
all the time.
You know, and there's always a new challenge, and but I'll tell you, like when I was writing those things, like, I had 100% doubt, like maybe like the smallest seed of belief in myself. Like
you had 100% doubt.
I would say, okay, maybe like 95% doubt. Like it's just like I was fighting the negative voices.
Okay.
And really didn't believe in myself that this is even possible. Like if you knew my public speaking journey,
yeah,
buddy, like complete failure across the board.
Yeah, like you were afraid to speak, weren't you?
Like, and I had a few times in which the Lord showed me, hey, there's actually a gift that has been blanketed by doubt and lack of self belief. Like, and like,
oh my gosh,
and like that, like it's. Yeah, like that, you know, if you have this desire in your heart, it's like, why would I have this desire in my heart to go and be a speaker when, like, I'll just be flat out honest with you. Like I choked on my words the first time I ever got to speak. Like the Archbishop comes into town, I read the same line twice. I get laughed out in Catholic school. I get to the University of Michigan. I'm supposed to sing a song, and as the freshman orientation, like the quote unquote hazing thing, I get up there, I have to sing 4 times in front of the team because I can't memorize one verse to a song, and like because of like the large amount of anxiety I have, like
You're
it was that
panicking.
bad. I get to my senior year, I get to give a speech as a senior, like it's my time to shine. I completely choke.
How so?
This is funny. I tried to give glory to God, and like I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth, to the point the boys were laughing later, like, Watson, you're funny, man. Like, I was like, I like to give, like just can't even get the words out of my mouth. Like it was that embarrassing.
Really?
Yeah, and just that put the fear of like public speaking into me, to where I'd get really like bouts of anxiety, but like it's wild.
Then like, okay, then at what moment do you feel like God planted in your heart, Steve, you're going to be a speaker? At what moment were you conscious, like, this is a path for me? And you had to have been like, what are you talking about, God?
Buddy, there was a couple of times that gave me confidence. So there was one time that I gave a speech at one of my teammates' weddings, and it was funny and people laughed, and then I was like, I don't know if anybody's ever laughed. It's like
Pressure's up.
And I was like, like maybe I got something here. But then I like.
And what are you, like mid-20s now?
Yeah, mid-20s, and then I did a few corporate things in which, like, when I was an expert in my craft and my product and confident, like, things were there. And like I, even when I first started this journey, there was some not so good ones. But
I think the point I'm trying to make here is, if you're in a occupational rut, right? Let's just strictly occupational rut, where you have a God-sized desire on your heart and you're constantly denying it, but there's a seed of belief within you. God is pulling you to something, right? And here's the hard part, because it could go negative financially. You might be in a great job right now, but God might be calling you to something that is less fiscally abundant, and that's probably stopping you, right? Or your gifts are stopping you. You go like, my track record's not good there, though, but it's constantly on your heart. How do we get out of this rut where we go from career to calling, right? And we go from this occupational deadness, right, to spiritually aliveness.
Yeah.
And so let's get into, like, how do we actually get out of the rut, whether this be occupational, financial, spiritual, physical, or relational. We got 6 steps. Start us off, man, with number 1.
I think anytime in a rut, when you're just you feel like you're stuck, or like you're looking up at Mount Everest and you're like, how in the hell am I gonna get to that point? Or like, you want to get to a point but you're stuck, and like you're caught in the same rhythms and everything else.
Totally.
The number one thing you should do is readjust your focus, and so I'm going to read this verse first, and we'll talk a little bit more. So, and now, brothers and sisters, one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about these things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Keep putting into practice all you have learned and received from me, everything you heard from me and saw me doing. Then the God of peace will be with you. Oftentimes you feel stuck because you're focused on all the wrong things. We actually have a branch in neurons, in our brain called the reticular activating system, which, when you focus on, or when you think about things for a long period of time, its job is to start to see those things. So if you're focused on your issues and your insecurities and your doubt and your fear, it will begin to kind of structure and make your life that way. And so, first things first is like start to readjust your focus. So what did I do when I was in that, that place in which like I knew where I wanted to go, but I didn't know how to get there.
Well, I like this quote you have in here. Subconscious doesn't care what you believe. It only cares what your life lines up with.
Yeah. So your subconscious mind
Tell me.
does not care what you believe. It only cares that your life lines up with those beliefs. So I'll say that again. So your subconscious mind does not care what you believe. It only cares that your life lines up with those beliefs. So
beliefs need to line up with habits and actions and disciplines.
So the way it was described to me is that, let's just take golf, for example. If you're a guy that says he shoots in the 80s, and then one day you're out on the golf course and you just so happen to be shooting a round that's in the 60s. Your subconscious mind will work to align with the beliefs that you are a guy that shoots in the 80s. So like, I think we can all relate. We're out there, we're having a good round, and then all of a sudden, like, we self-sabotage like halfway through the round, and our 60 round goes to crap, and we find ourselves weaving back into the 80s, and like that's what happens in our life. Is our subconscious mind over time is programmed by events in our lives. So negative events, your subconscious mind is there to protect you, number one. So when you have a situation in which you fail miserably, aka my public speaking journey, your subconscious mind will start to align my life with those beliefs. So like, anytime I get up to speak after that, I'm not a good public speaker, I can't do this. Sabotage. And then, regardless if God had gifted me with public speaking ability or not, my beliefs that have come through my experience in this life are defining the direction in which I'm going. So the first things first is that, like, we need to start to reprogram our subconscious mind to see the world differently. And so focusing on what is good, so practicing gratitude in your life, focusing on the goodness of God and the beauty of this earth, focusing on the things in which are good in your life, and then also starting to reinforce the things in which are in you that you tend to doubt every day. So like, for example, I started to remind myself that I am a good public speaker.
Really?
Regardless.
Really?
Of my trials and tribulations in it.
Lord.
I am wired for great things. God has given me true gifts if I'm willing to step in and use them. I am bold, I am strong, I am courageous. Like, I start to
readjust my focus,
replace my lies with truth, and this is an everyday thing. So the subconscious mind is something in which you need to reprogram over a long period of time. This is a deep topic. Also, visualization, like starting to visualize yourself, or like what my life would look like, or what I want my life to look like.
I feel that. So I was 3 years into my rehab journey on my elbow, and I had all these recurring injuries, surgery, loose fragmented bones, like all this crap. I remember one time I'm sitting in the cold tub, and this major leaguer comes in. He was just there for a couple weeks, and I was telling him about my journey, and we're chopping it up, and he said something super powerful, and I could tell just by this one conversation that he had done a lot of work on his subconscious mind. And he said, "Lance, do you even believe that you can be healthy?"
Yeah.
Do you? And I'm almost offended, Steve. I'm like, well, yeah, of course I believe I can get healthy. And he goes, well, then you need to start operating in that mindset and start telling yourself that.
Yeah, you need to stop living in your self-limiting beliefs.
And I was living in I'm injured.
Yeah.
And then from that moment forward, I started visualizing, and I also started repeating like a couple different phrases to myself. Every time I would pick up the ball from that moment forward, it was, I've never felt better. And then I would say, this is my very best. I've never felt better. This is my very best. And bro, I tell you what, within a few months, I was healthy.
Yeah.
And I was throwing semi back to where I used to be for the first time in 3 seasons. It was great. I can pinpoint to that moment, but it was this right here, bro. It was my focus, because my focus had been on how badly I've been hurt And he's just like, no, bro, you got to focus on how healthy you're going to be.
Well, and like that, like, so it's really hard to believe for some people. I know it was for me at a certain point in my life that your external circumstances like really are truly tied to your internal health.
Yeah.
And like it's like John Maxwell says, like inward work precedes any professional success, which I think is really powerful. And until you live it, until you practice it, like it's really hard to believe it to be true, because you just been conditioned to think in order to change my external, I got to do external things. But really, to change your external, you have to do internal things.
1,000%. Yeah, I think about this story of this woman who decided, I'm going to swim 26.2 miles, right? Yeah. And she gets 15 hours into the 26.2 mile swim, and she taps the boat. She's like, I'm done. I'm out. Get me out of the water. And they're like, no, go 1 more hour. And she's like, all right, fine. She keeps swimming. She goes another hour, taps the boat. She's like, get me out. I'm out of here. The problem was it was foggy the whole day. She couldn't see the shore, right? Yeah. She gets out of the boat, she climbs out, and she reflects on it, and she tells everybody, hey, I didn't make it because it was foggy, right? She continues to train. And this time, the next time she comes out, it's foggy again. And she swims, but she said the only focus I had the entire time was on the shore. Yeah. And she makes it. She gets out of the 26.2 mile swim, same conditions, same fog, different perspective. Just like me, it was conviction, right? Just like her, it was vision. She readjusted her focus on the shoreline. Instead of what she couldn't see, she focused on something that she could.
Absolutely. And so like that's important. Like your focus is everything. Yeah. But you have to be patient with, okay, let's just say you're at a point right now where you've realized that your focus has been on all the wrong things. Yeah. It is going to take time to readjust your focus and get it on the right things. And it's a process. So let's talk about the gratification, like instant versus distant gratification, or
instant versus distant gratification. Okay.
So everything in our body wants this instant gratification. So that's what we define as flesh. Flesh is, like you're motivated by comfort, food, pleasure. Yeah. And so like if you're not comfortable, you ask what's wrong. If you're hungry, you say I need food. It's like if you're uncomfortable, you say where can I get some pleasure to make myself feel comfortable. And so you get yourself into this rut of feeding yourself with things in which give you temporary relief, which are then over time are conditioning your mind to want those things. Over time, you're
creating a path.
You're creating a path. You're creating a rut.
When I'm uncomfortable, I do this.
Yeah.
Now
exactly.
Your brain knows it.
Exactly. Same thing with self-limiting beliefs.
Yep. When this happens, I think like this.
Yeah, exactly. And over time, you start to think that way, like pretty consistently. Like you ever be around somebody and they are very focused on problems. Like you hear them talk about, like I have this problem, I have this. I hope this doesn't happen to me. Like I hope my future is not this way. And I'm sure they don't even realize that they've just been thinking that way for so long that their brain started to fall into that pattern. So I'm going to read this Galatians 6:6-8. It's make no mistake about this. You can never make a fool out of God. Whatever you plant, you will harvest. If you plant the soil of your corrupt nature, you will harvest destruction. If you plant the soil of your spiritual nature, you will harvest everlasting. And so,
yeah, that's good.
Now take this and put this into what we're talking about. So you have, and you're not wrong for it. It's just like, because we all do this, and if you're not aware of it, it's really impossible to miss doing this. But thinking negatively about yourself for a long period of time, it becomes the norm. So it's like if you're planting negative thoughts in your head over time, you're going to harvest whatever comes from those negative thoughts, which generally is destruction. And so if you start to plant good things, so the Word of God, for example, which is made for you, it's the food that God intended for your soul and your body. You start to feed yourself with the Word of God every day. You start to feed yourself with positivity. You start to see the positive things in life, and it's a forced diet. So make no mistake, it's you got to be intentional with your day. Jesus talks about taking up your cross daily and following me. The same principles apply to this. And if you're in a rut right now, it's hey, you got to do this every day. And really have non-negotiables with yourself that I'm going to rewire my circuitry board to actually see what I want to see, and in turn your life will start to over time start to take shape based on what you actually focus on.
Yeah, I can agree. I've been in an 18-year rut.
Yeah.
With one thing.
Talk to me, Goose.
I think we're going to have to do episode 2 on this because we only have 10 minutes left, but maybe we'll do a few more of these topics. But I want to tell you about this 18-year rut. I was in, and still, at times, I still will go back to this, but I just had a revelation about a month ago, maybe 5-6 weeks ago. I can point back to a point in childhood where everything shifted consciously to my body image.
Yeah.
I know exactly when it happened. I can pinpoint the moment, and I don't blame anyone for that. This is just reality. It happened, right? Something nobody else remembers. It's on my mind, and I'm okay, this is when it started, when I became conscious of my body image. So then every workout and everything that I ate was out of 2 purposes. And now I'm older and I can articulate this, right? And I've had a lot of time in prayer and fasting to help God help reveal to me how to think about this, right? And 2 ways that I worked out and 2 ways that I ate, right? Number 1, out of refuge, right? So I would eat out of refuge as a place of comfort and pleasure, right? I need this candy bar. I feel this certain way, so I'm going to eat this. I want this donut, therefore I'm going to fill my flesh, right? Because I'm eating out of a place of refuge. Now, the other place that I ate out of, or even worked out out of, it was a place of obligation and duty, right? I'm going to eat this out of obligation, so that I will get this desired physique, this desired body, and because the one I have now isn't right. So I'm either, and then same with the workouts. So I would work out out of refuge. Sometimes I need this so I feel better about myself, okay? And then obligation, I need to work out so I'm A, better at my sport, but B, so that I can fix the way that I look. Now this is 18 years of patterning, right? So when I look
at again, 18 years of what?
Patterning. The way that I have 18 years of thought processes. When I see myself or look at myself or my body image, that's not right. It's not good enough. You need to be this certain way. Yeah. Right?
So the reason I had you emphasize patterning.
Oh, yes.
Is because
deep.
Is because I think that's important. Is you need to recognize and break the negative patterns in your life. And
yes.
Because that's where people get hung up. Is you start to try to do the right things and get yourself out of the rut, and then you have a moment in which you fall into the thing in which you're trying to get out of, and you beat yourself up, and it's all hell just broke loose, and you find yourself back at square one, and you're discouraged, and you're son of a gun. But you're gonna mess up. And so I think one thing that we should talk about is you need to show yourself grace. And eliminate patterns, but little one-offs as you're going on this journey. Show yourself grace in the one-offs, because that's important in overcoming these things. Because I think we put ourselves in this place of needing to be perfect on our journey, and that's just a recipe for disaster. You need to put yourself in a place in which you embrace imperfection, but don't allow yourself to fall back into pattern.
Yeah, and that is exactly what I was doing. I was striving for protection. Then recently, I had a revelation because things got really bad for me. I'd say last 3 months before I had this revelation about 5 or 6 weeks ago. I was kind of in the worst state that I've been in. Right, new baby, new stress, new emotions, just so much overwhelm, so much exhaustion, right? So much beating myself up because I'm not doing what I normally do at the gym. I'm at home more. Dude, it was just a recipe for disaster, right? This is a real rut. And then I finally I'm starting to feel really uncomfortable at the end of the day. Everything I eat, I don't feel good. My stomach is twisting. And then for the first time in my life, I'm having problems with like every food that I eat. Dude, it's because everything that I was eating, I'm not good enough. I don't look the way that I need to. This food isn't helping me. And bro, I got really sick, and then to the point where I did a fast, and I was asking God about this, and he revealed to me 1 Corinthians 3:16, and I read this, and it really changed my life. And it says, you are God's holy temple, right? And temple means house of the Lord. You are the house of the Lord. Right after that says, you are a dwelling spot. You are the dwelling place for the Holy Spirit, for God's Spirit, right? And God revealed to me, it's like, Lance, this isn't even your own body. This isn't even yours. And there's that study that talks about, man, those two sets of plants. One of them were spoke negatively to, right? And one of the set of plants was spoke positively to. The one that was spoken negatively literally died, right? The one that's spoken positively grows. And God knows I know that story because I talk about it all the time. He says, Lance, why can you not do this to your own body and your own flesh? You constantly berate it. You constantly judge it. Why would it change? And everything you eat, you never eat it out of love. And I had this flip in mindset that every workout that I do is now an act of worship, because this isn't even my own body. I'm worshiping God when I move my body, and everything that I eat now is out of love. I'm eating it because I love my body. I work out because I love my body. I don't work out to get a desired physique. That's part of it. That can happen. But this is an act of worship, and everything that I eat is even an act of worship.
Yeah.
I eat out of love. I work out of love. And it's totally changed me. And I posted a video about it, and the response was crazy, and how many people could relate to that mindset. So I just feel like I had to readjust my focus there, and that was a real 18-year rut, bro, and I'm still struggling with it. And every day I got to remind myself, right, I'm God's temple, right? I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Like, my body is God's. This is God's body. It's not even my own.
Yeah, so you're doing stuff in your daily walk to make sure that you dial in your focus every day to continue on the mission in which God has placed on your heart.
1,000%.
And like that's it. So first things first is readjust your focus.
Yep.
And then consistently over time make sure you're doing it daily. The next thing that I have here is pause, pray, and respond, which came from my mentor Dave Gervecki, Jan's wife. She says it all the time, PPR.
Yeah,
pause,
PPR.
Pause, pray, respond. And so why is this important? So like in your ruts, like reflection is the most important thing that you can do. So it's like, why am I in the situation I'm in? Before you go into a room, before you do anything, pause and pray. Ask God for help, ask God for wisdom, ask God for understanding, and really reflect with God about the situation, and then respond. So you're slowing your life down. So I'm going to read this quote here. So when you eliminate busyness and hurry in your life, you are more intentional with your actions and attentive with your eyes. You will see more. When we are busy, we have the opposite effect. You see less. It's hard to change what you are not aware of. So
come on.
Like our answer to everything is busyness. Work hard. Just continue to do things.
1,000%.
Eventually you're going to get yourself out of the position in which you're in. And there's this old statement that says doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different result is considered insanity.
Dude, totally.
If you're busy and like you continue to conform to these cultural norms of like, if you're not busy, like you're doing something wrong, you're going to have a very narrow focus. So like you're going to really only see a very limited gaze. So everything we've talked about in this first part here is focus.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about how just like thinking that working hard and doing more is going to get you to your destination. It can be very destructive if you let it. So pausing and praying and responding, so making it consistent time of reflection, consistent time of prayer, will slow things down for you, and then you'll be able to see more. So imagine a life and when you're fully trusting in God, and you're giving things to Him, and then you're slowing down and you're deciding to look around as you're working hard. You decide to take time out of your day to pause and pray. Take time out of your day to reflect. Like you start to like actually see that, like, holy cow, my gaze was narrow.
Oh, totally.
I was focused on all of the wrong things, and my life started to follow suit.
Bingo. Yeah, I was on the road a month or so ago, and I witnessed a fatal car accident. I remember I reflected on that. I took a whole morning and reflected on it. And I remember God shared with me one thing that really hit my heart, and I think this is for somebody, is it's better to be going in the right direction than it is to be going faster.
Yeah. Better
to go in the right direction than it is to go faster. In a microwave world, we have a crock pot God, right? I'd rather be simmering the right food with the right recipe than trying to microwave something faster.
Yeah.
I'd rather be going in the right direction than going faster. So that response is everything, and that pausing, that praying is everything. There's this reel of this guy who, he's like, I'm trying to get out of debt, but I was doing the same things. He's like, I moved out of my house, I started doing this differently and this differently. I changed everything about my life. It's like, exactly. You were in a rut, and it's like, you're not going to get out of debt doing the same thing. He literally changed everything after he paused and prayed and reflected what he was going to do.
Yeah, so good, man. And then just moving through this.
Yeah.
Let's just go to James 1:2 verse 8, very commonly used verse, but this is going to make a really big point here. So, dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you'll be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Other translations say that you'll be perfect for a purpose. So, and then it goes on to say, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and He will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. But when you ask Him, be sure your faith is in God alone. Do not waver, for a person with divided loyalty is unsettled as a wave in the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world, and they're unstable in everything they do. So really, let's talk about, a recipe for a rut, or what generally gets us in a rut is doing things in a worldly manner, doing things without asking God for wisdom. I always say that, like, adversity plus God equals growth. And adversity plus God equals progress. Proverbs 4:23, it says, actually 3 verse 5, it says, trust in God with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, seek His will in all you do, and He will make your path straight. Like when we plug into the Lord, and then we start to go through these things, and we start to seek wisdom in these things, like, it's amazing what happens. It's like, you want to get out of a rut, plug into the Lord, cling to His leg, hold fast to Him, and start to seek wisdom in everything that you do. So it's really slowing down is how you get yourself moving forward.
Yeah, I love that. Right there in verse 5, James 1, verse 5, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and He will give it to you. Like, ask for wisdom.
Yeah.
God, how can I change? Where am I thinking incorrectly? Give me wisdom. Give me the way that you think, right?
Now let's pause. Like, okay, so how do we generally, when we're in a rut, think? Like, you're like, man, this sucks. My life sucks. Gosh.
Fix my situation.
Yeah.
Right? Fix my situation.
Yeah, or we don't even think to pray. Like we're just in it, and then we try to control things that are out of our control instead of pausing, praying, Lord God, I pray that you help me in this. I pray that you give me wisdom. God, help me to understand this and see this the way I'm supposed to see this.
Yeah.
And that prayer right there is the first step in order to taking the step towards where God wants you to go. So like when I was in that time of not having a job, like I had no choice but to surrender. I had no choice but to ask God, because it's like if I was going to go down this route, like that's the only thing I had to stand on. Because outside of that, it's like shoot, doing life my way clearly had put me in a weird spot. But it was amazing how like when I actually started to seek the Lord, how these things started to change.
No, I love that. And I think the surrender piece.
Yeah.
Surrender to the suffering, surrender to the difficult time, surrender to that season that you're in. Is like, God, this season, you're training me. This season of life is necessary. It's necessary for where I'm going.
Yeah. So let's just keep this going. So 1, readjust your focus. We talked about that. 2, slow down. Don't be in a hurry. Like you need to be, in order to change things, you need to be able to see things. Ask God for wisdom, PPR, and then fasting, spiritual reset. So beginning to remove things that you're currently holding on to so you can receive more. So letting go in order to receive. I tell myself every morning, like, you must let go to unleash. Like all of the things that I'm still holding on to, and granted it is a process of letting go of things, like you must let go in order to unleash. So it's it was explained to me in this way. It's like, imagine you have like the 2 hands full of lollipops, but then like your father comes to you and says like has this big beautiful chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Like you have to let go of the lollipops in order to receive the big beautiful chocolate cake.
Totally.
And so it's like you can only hold on, like if you want to go in the direction that's on your heart, there needs to be change that takes place, and with that change you need to understand that it's not going to be comfortable and there's going to be pain in the process.
Which is perfect for our next point. I think to tie a bow on this, the last thing you can do is fasting, right?
Yeah.
It is starving the flesh so you can hear the Father.
Yeah.
Starve the flesh so that you can hear the Father. You want to get out of a rut spiritually, you want to get out of a rut, whatever it is, I would fast.
Yeah.
And not a fast for your fitness, a fast for the Father. And there's a complete and utter difference. So the more and more that I fast, I try to do this monthly, right? At some capacity. Some months I miss, but I try to do this consistently. Is okay, I'm either going to do 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, something like that. And every time, Steve, I swear, every single time I get some sort of revelation, right? By doing this, by saying, hey, I'm going to reject what I desire. I'm going to reject food and say I'm not going to eat so that I can be in tune with you. And every time I get hungry and I'm around food, it forces me to pray. Every time I'm yearning for food, it forces me to read the Word, right? Your spiritual ears are turned on volume 100, right? On your iPhone, you crank up those AirPods all the way. Dang, you can hear that music going. That's what it's like when you're fasting. Is you can hear what God is trying to tell you, right? And so if somebody is in a rut right now, fast. Take time, and it's like also if you can't fast, I understand that, but fast from something, right? Whether it's social media, but I think the best way to do it is food. And when we fast from it, now we're going to be attentive to the Spirit. And you can label your fast too. You can say, hey, I'm fasting for this answer, or I'm just fasting to dedicate and draw near to God. And one audio that I listened to, one sermon was like, you want to grow spiritually? The fastest way to grow spiritually is through fasting. You cannot get closer to God in a faster manner than through starving and fasting yourself, right?
Yeah.
But it's spiritual, not for physical benefits, which it does have. This is a spiritual fast.
Which it might sound crazy to some people, because I think at one time in my life it sounded crazy to me. Like
right.
I do fasting all the time. I I just invite you to try it.
Yes.
Because it was nuts to me. Now I've done 7-day water fast. I fast all the time. I've become stronger because of it. And now I have it as a
staple,
frequent practice. I shouldn't say that it's as frequent as it should be, but when I find myself getting a little bit out of whack, that's when it's time to fast, because it just brings you back and it helps you to refocus. So our first 2 points, it's like refocus, reflect. Like fasting helps you to do that. So when what you'll realize is that if you really do full fasting, meaning you
just a water fast,
you realize how much of your life is centered around pleasing your desires
or food. Yeah,
and then you also come to realize that your desires are going to keep you from your destiny.
Wow. Say it again.
Your desires are going to keep you from your destiny.
Say it again.
Your desires are going to keep you from your destiny.
Mic drop, baby. That's right.
And so let's close out with this fourth point, that you're not going to be able to do this alone.
No.
You need people. God designed us to do life with people, and without people, you might as well just stay in your rut the rest of your life.
Gotta reach out.
Because you need your brothers, you need your sisters, you need people, you need to be in community. You were designed to be in community, and if you really want to find yourself in that place of peace and purpose and passion, you ain't going to get there by yourself.
Never.
And so, reach out to people, start to build your community. It's important. And, I always say, who's your Barnabas and who's your Paul? So Barnabas was an encourager in the Bible. Put people in your life that are going to encourage you to be better and do better. And then get some wisdom, some gray hair in your life.
That's right. That's right.
So a Paul, a person that will teach you and polish you and help you to grow, and tell you when you're out of whack, and just be that place, that solid rock, that pillar in your life of wisdom. That's important. And then always be asking yourself, why? And last but not least, we keep saying last, let's end on this one. You got to have a plan.
Yeah.
And without a plan, you're pretty much not going to go anywhere. It's really training to win, living life to win. If you're losing, the first things first as athletes, what do? We go in and we create a game plan to win. How are we going to respond to the stuff in my life? Create a plan, a daily plan, and then stick to it. I think the reason why we always fall off, in these ruts and stay in the same place is we create a plan for our lives, we start to do it, it becomes difficult, and then we stop doing what we set out to do. In order to find yourself in the place where, and you and I struggle with this daily, actually creating the plan, but then living the plan out is a different thing. Living the plan out,
totally.
It takes discipline. It takes grit. Grit is something that you better dig down deep at certain times and just continue to do it. What is create a plan and then make them non-negotiables with yourself. It's what am I doing every day to get myself closer to where I want to be? And just get up and repeat it every day, and don't negotiate with yourself, because we are the best negotiators against our own plans in our lives. We'll give ourselves an excuse.
Love it, brother. Got to have that plan. What are you going to do? And then also the grace and forgiveness when you fall short. Be kind to yourself, right? Words are like honey to the soul, right? They're sweet. Kind words are like honey to the soul, so we got to consistently speak kindly to ourselves even when we fall short, and then get right back on the plan. It's okay to mess up and get off the course of action because we're not perfect, but get right back on it, right? Get back right on it the next day. You miss prayer, you miss Bible for a few days, just go back to it, right? So we got to be gracious to ourselves. So Kingdom Bros Podcast, episode 6, you guys.